Welcome to 32 Bar Cut the Show, a show where we talk with our friends about what it's like to be a performer. Today on 32 Bar Cut the Show, we are sitting down with Raymond J. Lee.
It's time to welcome on our guest, my favorite by far, a Broadway star,
Raymond J. Lee.
On 32 Bar Cut.
You may have seen him on your television screens, on Broadway, or you may have listened to him on an audiobook. But today he is sitting down with us to chat about his life as a performer. Welcome to the show, Raymond J. Lee.
Hi, Adrienne. Thanks for having me. And can I have that intro whenever I walk into an audition room? That was amazing.
I'm so glad you loved it. Austin wrote that for us, and we get a kick out of playing it for everybody every episode. It's so much fun. You know, everyone like, oh, that's my name.
But I'm like, yeah, music. Oh, they personalized it. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to give you, your red carpet before we start this chat.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
So how are you doing? I ask everyone this, knowing that it is not the simplest of questions any day, but definitely nowadays, not the simplest of questions. But how are you today?
I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. It's been one of those rough pandemic parenting remote hybrid school days, which is why I have my cup of coffee right here. And I also have a cookie just to treat myself. But I feel like everybody's kind of hanging in there, living like day to day, week by week, being kind of aware of their feelings and what's happening inside their minds and bodies. So that's where I'm at. How about you?
Definitely. Oh man. Yeah. I had to put an audition on tape before we did this. And that kind of puts me in, it's fun because you get to play, but it's not necessarily the frame of mind I want before I sit down and like have a relaxing plan chat with someone. And so, other than that, I'm great. Now that that's over, I'm great. I'm fantastic. And I get to go get a manicure after this because I've been like hand modeling on the side. And so
Yes.
it'll be a nice like relaxation moment for me to just like, okay, the audition's done and we're good. All I have to do is show my hands tomorrow. It's fine. I could have a breakout. It's fine.
We'll have to like compare self-tape hints and advice, because literally by like the 8th take, I'm like, I don't know anymore. I think I got it. And my husband's like, can I stop? I want to watch Real Housewives.
Oh, yeah. Austin is over it. He's been he's my person, right? So like, I'm like, I can't do it without you. Like, I need you to help me. And he's like, oh, it's fine. I got you. And for us, it's been a whole, journey of when we first started doing self-tapes, it was an argument every time. And now it's like, oh, okay, we can do this. I just need to make sure my tone is good and his tone is good. And then, we can just get this done. Also, I learned that I can't use our time to record as time to continue to practice learning the lines.
We have I have a method now where I type out the lines. I tape them on a tripod just to I call it Dumbo's feather, where they're in my head, but if I don't kind of see something, I just freak out. And my husband's like, or I will stop. And I'm like, I did it wrong. And he's like, you did it right. Why did you stop? That was a good take. Stop being an actor.
I know that it's that reminder of just keep it going. Because if you were on stage, you would just keep it going. But also it's so funny for me because I haven't really booked any TV or film yet. I did like one independent film for a friend of mine in 2012 and never saw a camera again, And so for me, I feel like all this pressure. And when I go in for a theater audition, I learn the lines. I'm like, these are the lines. Bada boom, bop, bop, let's go. And then for some reason, when it's TV and film, I'm like, what is it? It's like leaves my brain.
I'm right there with you. That's I'm still like that too. And for me, it's I've learned what you do in a theater audition where I learn the lines. I'm like, great, I'll see what happens in the room.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to do that with the camera.
Yeah.
You have to be like, whatever mood I'm in, whatever happens, whatever wink I do or head bob, it's going to be part of the take and hopefully it's good. Yeah, totally.
I love that way of thinking. And I'm hopeful. I keep saying, like I said it at the end of last year. I was like, 2021, I'm gonna be on somebody's TV screen. You just wait. We'll see. I have no control over this, but anyway,
Well,
baby
and it's
steps.
like a lottery. It is literally, it's like, it's just so, it's like, what flavor do they want? What flavor are you feeling that day? Do those flavors coincide or do they completely miss each other? It's just such a crapshoot sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's fun though. I would say that the auditions have been fun.
Good.
And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Had you always wanted to be an actor?
Yes, to my parents' dismay. I always wanted to be an actor. I actually always wanted to be a singer. That was my first thing, was I wanted to like be in a boy band so badly. I would like learn all the dance moves to NSYNC and Backstreet and Britney, also being a gay boy. And then in school, like the only way to kind of do that was with musicals.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first foray into theater and acting. And I love that too, because I'm such a ham. And then it just kind of spiraled from there.
I always ask everyone that because everyone's story is different. You have some folks that are child actors and they knew from the womb that that's what they wanted. And then other folks kind of happened upon it. And it's just interesting that we all end up in the same place, but our journeys are so different.
Yeah.
And
that's why I love telling, oh, sorry. That's why I love telling like the youngsters too, who think there has to be a specific path. And you're like, no, everybody has their own path. Like, Carolee Carmelo went to school for accounting and economics and then decided she wanted to sing. Like, and then there are people that are child actors. Like, it's just all about your own personal journey.
Absolutely. And how you navigate that. And once you make the decision, you just go for it. You just go for it. And it doesn't matter if you don't have the theater school or the all the training or everything to back it up. You can acquire those things over time. You just have to have the will and the passion to go for it, in my opinion.
You know what's funny is how many people now, like just talking to them, and since we're all in quarantine and everyone's very open about how they're feeling, like how many of us still have like imposter syndrome?
Oh, yes.
I almost feel like sometimes the people that I think are the most put together and the most brilliant, and they'll be like, I just feel like, why am I here? Like, I feel like it. And it's really humbling to know that, because it's like, you feel that too. That's cool to know. It's all of us,
Yeah. I think that for me, that's part of why I wanted to even just sit down with other actors, is because I think that the kids coming up or whoever, whatever age, might feel like we're always having the time of our lives, or that we know exactly what we're doing, or our instincts are spot on and we just got magic. And it's not always that way. Sometimes, it's terrible, or you don't know what you're doing, or you want to just give up. You get an audition call, it's due tomorrow, it's 12 pages, and you just want to like throw it in the air and like go buy an ice cream cone because it's just, I need a break. But yeah. I wanted to show the real, and I feel like these conversations have really done that. So I'm really excited to sit down with you and hear about your journey and how you got here today. Because I was doing some research on you, because I like to research everybody before we sit down and talk. And I was so impressed by all the things that you've done. Like, you are a renaissance man when it comes to acting, and you've mastered it all. In my opinion, it feels like you have really just done it all. You've got animation, you've got commercial work, you've got film work, you've got you're in a movie with Scarlett Johansson, and you also have this Broadway career. And just before all of this went down and the doors were closed and we all are sequestered at home, you were about to do another Broadway show.
And I see your sign there. I'm like, thank you.
That's for you. That's for you.
Thank you. We had started our first week of rehearsal a year ago. So like 2 days ago, we were all like texting each other like, happy 1 year from our first rehearsal. Can't wait to get back to it.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in rehearsal for for Once Upon a One More Time, which is a Britney Spears musical. And this gay boy pop fantasy, extravaganza. I was living my life. I was so excited. I remember having a costume fitting like the day before everything closed and finally felt like a pop prince. And then I all kind of shut down. And so it's like having the faith that things will return. And it seems like it's slowly coming back. Like I know they're talking about certain theaters opening up to limited capacity, vaccines are happening, but man, I'm so ready for everything to open up again safely, but open back up.
Same, big same. I am looking forward to the simple things like having a date night. But I'm also looking forward to the big things like Broadway opening up. I know it's going to be a huge party down the whole street. It's going to be incredible. So I am looking forward to that. But and I'm sorry that you only got a couple days. For some reason, I was thinking that you guys were in rehearsal for like a couple of weeks or a month. But either way, it's still a disappointment because you gotta wait.
It was 2 weeks of rehearsal. We had just finished like act 1, and like the girls, the princesses were going to go a couple days early for a photo shoot. So they were literally figuring out all the details. We had all figured out our Airbnbs and company rentals. And the first night we landed, there was a Britney night at a gay bar. So we're all like, yes, it's a sign. And then it all happened. But, it will come back. We will all get back to it. But it's a really great show because it's about princesses taking their stories back from an evil male narrator. And I mean,
come on, that's it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You would actually be perfect in the show too, Adrienne. Did you get seen for it? Because you would be perfect in so many of the roles.
I didn't get seen for it. Who cast it? Can you tell me? Do you remember?
Paul Hart.
Oh, okay.
Paul Hart was our casting director.
I've never gone in for Paul, so maybe he just doesn't know me.
Well, you know what you do is, you let me know, and when we're casting, I will email him and make sure I got you. I'll make sure he knows.
I love that. I don't know who that was, but I love him. Oh man. Well, whether I get a chance to be seen or not, I'm excited to see Once Upon a One More Time because I think it's going to be amazing. And I love the premise already that you just shared because you are a father of a daughter. And so I imagine getting to be a part of a story that liberates young girls and gives them their power back has to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, especially as a dad and especially as a dad to a beautiful biracial 6.5-year-old now. A daughter, I mean, female power, women empowerment. It's something that I have always strived for and tried to be an ally. And just now having a daughter, it's like I want to do even more to make sure she knows she is just as equal, just as powerful, just as smart, just as deserving as any man out there, or anyone who identifies as a man, so, and it's been really great too. I mean, doing a quick political aside, like knowing that Kamala Harris is now our VP and she shares the same, background as my daughter. Cause my daughter is half South Asian, half West Indian. Wow. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I cried at her speech. We watched her speech together and she knows who Kamala is. So I'm very like, there you go, girl. Yeah.
Yes. And she's 6.5, which is brilliant because I don't think I knew what politics were when I was 6.5.
I think I knew what it was at like 24.
We had to start caring eventually, right? Oh man. So you always wanted to be an actor. And now I'm curious. So you went to Northwestern. I looked that up. And so I know they do a showcase and all that. They really set their performers up for success. That seems to be Northwestern's bag, which is great. And so were you able to get an agent from your showcase? How did it? You did? Okay, great.
Yes.
Can you share that with us?
So I started off at Northwestern as a pre-med chemistry major.
What?
After a year and a half, I was like, I cannot do this. I don't care about chemicals in a test tube. I just can't do this. And then I transferred to the School of Speech. That's what it was back then. Now it's a School of Communication as a film major. But because I was a film major, I could apply for the music theater program. So I was weaseling my way into the program but making sure my parents didn't see theater on my report card because they would have freaked out. Went through the whole program, met some amazing friends that we all still talk and support each other. And I was part of my senior showcase. Came to New York. What I sang "Rain" from Once on This Island. I remember being like, I know I'm ethnic, but I don't think this is the right song for me.
Honestly, I could hear you killing it though, because your voice is so fierce. But I can also see the conflict.
I was like, what about Purpose from Avenue Q? And then so I signed with my legit agent and my commercial agent, and I've been with them since 2004.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's been like a learning process because in the beginning, no one ever teaches you how to like behave with your agents, how to foster a relationship, how to communicate with them. So it took a year or two to like know how to talk and be myself around them, and we're super tight. Like they've come and like babysat before the pandemic. We text about things. Like it's nice to be at this stage of our relationship. But in the beginning, there was some like learning curves on my end.
Absolutely. I felt that way with my agent too. I feel like we're really starting to get to know each other now. I've been with them since 2013. And I think, first of all, I didn't know what an agent was or what they were supposed to do for you, really. So I had to learn that and then learn what I needed and what roles were right for me and how to express that and say that and how to trust them. Because your career is in their hands, and I don't have a manager, but I really am curious your take on the difference between them and what they do for you in that way. But I think there's definitely a learning curve with getting an agent for the first time and understanding what that means.
Totally, like with my agents too. They almost act like managers. They really kind of massaged my career, and I was always there to ask them questions. And I always tell people, agents do not charge you. They take a commission. Because when I was a student in Chicago, there were a couple of agencies that were like, hey, you have to pay this much money for me to put you on your website. You got to pay me this fee up front. And I did once because I didn't know any better. And then so I always tell students, like, make sure you don't pay money up front. They work for you and they will take a commission out. I signed with my manager a few years ago, Matthew Sullivan, who is awesome. And he feels almost like a therapist at times. I guess the difference between an agent and a manager is an agent, they both get you the appointments. They both do the negotiating. I think a manager is just a little more hands-on. They're the kind that will he'll like give me like a virtual hug and be like, they're there, you're fine, you're talented. Or I will have a self-tape. I'll rehearse it, send it to him. He gives me notes. So in a way, he's also kind of like a coach. So they're kind of more involved in the day-to-day. But with my agents at Nicolosi, they've also been that as well. They've been fantastic. So it's nice to have a good team. And there's also a difference between, so I have Nicolosi as my theater, TV, film agents. I have Matthew as my manager. And then CESD is my commercial agents. They're also my voiceover and print. So I'm lucky to have this team. And with them, it's a whole different array of protocols as well, because commercial calls, you get it the day before. Voiceovers, you have to record the MP3 that night and send it. So it's been, I feel like actors' brains, we compartmentalize everything because there's so much stuff to absorb.
So much. It's like we're our own secretary, and it's a lot of navigating. It almost feels like a freelance lifestyle, even though everything is in this one little bubble of abilities and different types of work that you'll do. You could be, especially for commercial auditions, they ask you to do crazy things sometimes. You know, what's like the craziest thing you've had to do in a commercial audition?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I remember the one for a theater audition. I had to sit on, Donna Lynn Chaplin, who was on My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Is it My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend? I'm the worst. I had to stand on her back and sing Let It Go because we were improvising for a workshop. And she had to stand on my back and sing something as well. And we were just laughing like, what is going on right now? But we did.
How did you stand on each other's backs?
I felt bad. I'm like, girl, I'm 180 pounds. anybody's back, I will probably break if I stand on you and try and sing a song. And commercially, it's so funny because they ask you to do everything. And my favorite is when they ask you to wear like a suit in the middle of summer. So everyone's sweating, everyone's in that one bathroom changing. I've had to make animal noises. I've had to do attempted breakdance moves. I've had to the bite and smile audition where it's like for a fast food place where you then you spit it out in a trash can.
That's wild. That's wild. I remember I had to dance like Beyonce once. And I thought, okay, sure. I mean, I'll do my best, but it's like, it's Beyonce. Like,
was there music? Please tell me there was like music, or was it all?
No, it was in silence. They played no music. Silence. I was like, this is awesome. When can I leave?
There was one audition where they made us do improv. I wonder if this was like the same audition. But they had somebody was at the piano and they started playing Usher's "Yeah," but on the piano, like doot 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 doot, and I'm like, I can't get down to the cabaret version of "Yeah" by Usher right now.
No, absolutely not. And and the camera tells all. So like if you are not committed, the camera's like, I see you're not committed. But
my Korean face will let you know what I'm feeling. That's why during tech I'm like, I'm sorry for my face, but you'll see it from the 10th row what I might be feeling on stage.
I think it took me years for me to realize that my face tells my truth. And I will be so polite. I will say things so diplomatically, but my face is not diplomatic. She tells on me all the time.
Yeah. You're probably, are you the one that like people take pictures of me during tech and be like,
yes.
Hey, and I'm like,
yes. Yes. And I'm never aware of it until someone reminds me. I'm trying to be more aware of it, but I was in rehearsals for Kiss Me Kate, and I was still meeting everybody. And I had a moment with one of my cast members, and she was just like, I just stare at you the whole rehearsal. Your face, you kill me. And I'm like, oh no, I'm doing it again. Like I've got an audience. I gotta rein it in.
Yeah, that's what one of our swings during Soft Power. She'd be like, Ray. During that scene, I'm like, oh, I thought I hit it. Or I'd be like, I swear I was thinking what I was going to order from Chipotle. I really think it was deceiving that time. So it's probably like, do I order chicken or steak?
You're just in deep thought for a second. It was, there was no shade. Just.
Yeah, it's important. Chicken or steak. I want to know what my burrito bowl is going to look like.
Absolutely.
During my tech meal.
Yeah, it's an important meal. I'm so glad you brought up Soft Power because I really wanted to chat with you about that experience. I didn't get a chance to see it. I wish I did because I know how groundbreaking it was, but can you chat a little about it?
Yeah, Soft Power. There truly is no other theatrical experience like it. It is a play turned into musical, written by David Henry Hwang, Janine Tesori, Lee Silverman directed it. Sam Pinkleton was our choreographer. Stellar, amazing team. Originated at CTG in LA. And then the public did it a year and a half ago. Oh God, how long has it been? A year and a half ago. And it's a fascinating take reversal on The King and I, where this Chinese man tries to help right the wrongs of America.
Wow.
Helps Hillary Clinton. So there's the pivotal role of Hillary Clinton, and it deals with Asian Americanness in America. It deals with us being the other. It deals with racism. It's semi-autobiographical because David Henry Hwang was stabbed on the streets of Brooklyn by an assailant who thought he was a Chinese delivery man. And so he uses that moment to go from play to musical. It's like a very warped Wizard of Oz as well.
Mm.
But we tackle, also gun violence. I had a big song about called Good Guy with a Gun, where I played the Vice President of the United States, singing about the importance of everybody having a gun. And it was an amazing experience being there from the early beginning, and helping develop something like that. Because as actors, when you get a chance to help develop like we did, it's so cool and so fascinating and stressful and terrifying to be able to help create from the ground up versus replacing and, and trying to fill someone else's shoes without making too many ripples.
Oh yeah, replacing is really hard. I mean, I would say that they're both challenging. It's just takes a different mindset for either, whether you're creating from the ground up or you're trying to fit into a puzzle piece, a puzzle that already exists. Yeah, they both can be difficult, but I think the dream is to do something from the ground up and really take ownership of it and put your stamp on it, if you will, of someone else's work and making it come to life. I really wish I got a chance to see that because it sounds amazing. And I imagine as a Korean American actor, getting a chance to be a part of something that resonated with you on a deeper level had to have been magical.
It really was. What was super magical was at the stage door after every show in LA, San Francisco, and New York, we would have like young Asian American and actually POC kids come up to us and let us know how much it meant to them, to see a cast of just minority people, Asian Americans, others in this country taking the stage and singing about America, telling an American story. Even to have Conrad Ricamora was our Asian American lead. He was sexy. He was romantic. Whoa, what a concept, that you don't see a lot.
Yeah.
So it truly was one of those experiences that I'll always remember. And you can actually listen to the cast album on Spotify, which gives like a nice little sample of the story. There's so many different genres that Janine tackled, and you'll almost feel it within each song. It was just very smart and a crazy ride.
I can only imagine. I'm going to have to take a listen to that. Thank you for suggesting that because I need new music in my life. And the way you're describing it sounds like it's pretty awesome.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
I'm thinking back to everything that's gone on in the past year and how we've all been kind of navigating these catchphrases or terms, diversity and inclusion. And my husband, Austin, brought this up, and I think it's a really good point that those phrases really get turned into a black and white conversation. And I feel like, as you said, the other gets left out of the conversation. And when it comes to percentages of actors on Broadway, if we were supposed to break everybody down into ethnic group, I would say that the my Asian actors are not getting a lot of time on stage and not getting any roles. And maybe even, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you because I'm just going and going. And then I really want to hear what you have to say about it. But the idea of your ethnicity being washed out because people can't handle it. So they're like, oh, well, we'll just include him as another white actor or another, just nameless, unidentified face. So
I have to first of all give props for me personally to the Black community because it was I think when I am in a cast and earlier in my career, and if there was ever something that was just not cool about maybe something that was racist against Asian people, I think I was taught as Korean American to sweep it under the rug, that it doesn't count, ignore it. And in hindsight, that was a wrong thing to do because then they think that's right and okay.
Yes.
And it was always my Black cast members that were like, Ray, are you okay with that? Because I feel that's weird, but it's not my place to say it. And that would start the seed in me like, you're right. That isn't cool. It was almost like experiences of the Black community being forced to speak up because of all this stuff that has been happening, because y'all are so more evolved with having to speak up. I feel like the Asian community is still catching up. We're still okay sometimes being quiet because that's what we've been trained to do. And we are starting to speak up more. And I know personally, like my face, if something happens, like you will know. And I will talk to someone on the creative team. I might not, make a scene in the rehearsal room, but then I will talk to a stage manager or a director, be like, hey, listen up, that's not cool, and I'm not comfortable with that. That is 2021 Ray, because 2004 Ray would have been like, everything's fine. It's fantastic. I'm so lucky to be here. I'm so lucky to be here. And there's this allyship between, I feel like, all our communities, the Black community, the Latinx community, the Asian American community, disabled community, LGBTQ, and I think there's such strength together. And especially with stuff that's been happening now, Black Lives Matter, anti-Asian hate crimes, it has been so important for all of us to support each other. And I've seen that, and it means so much. You know, I think anti-Asian hate crime seems to be the hot topic now. Mm-hmm. And to see people step up, talk about it, escort Asian elderly people across the street or home, and to see all colors do that, all colors show up at the protest, has been really awesome and has started to heal my soul. Sorry, that was so winded. I'm like, yeah, so like, it's like, ugh.
It's a lot. It's I think that we're all kind of coming out, you know, that moment in The Wiz where they like wake up and it's a brand new day. I feel like we, and when I say we, I do mean people of color, are figuring out, we're figuring out how to use our voice and find our voice, because I can identify with you, Ray, with not wanting to rock the boat or say anything or be a problem, especially starting out. And it's so hard to get cast in the first place. So you don't want to be a problem. And so then you pretend like you're okay with stuff, and it starts to build and it fester, you know, like an untended wound. And then that's not benefiting anyone, because you are being victimized, for lack of a better word, and then the person doing the action has no clue and they can't correct the behavior. And so I think it's for our benefit, for all of us, to continue to speak up, or begin to speak up. Yeah. And you can do it your own way. Like, some of us are a little more bold, a little more, you know, flashy with how we're going to speak to someone, and some of us are a little more quiet or polite or whatever adjective you have. But as long as the words get out, then change will happen.
Agreed. And I have to thank almost parenthood for giving me less energy, because I have less energy, I just blurt it out now. I have to share one of my experiences too, that really stood with me, was when we were auditioning for Groundhog Day, the musical. I think every time I go in for an audition, I'm always like, what role is a token role? What role is a token color role that they're going to like put someone of color in that role and be like, look, we're diverse.
Yeah.
You know, and uh-oh.
Hey,
Adrienne, you there? Sorry, I froze. I'm back.
You're back.
So going to the auditions, I remember being like, okay, this part, the part of Ralph that I was going in for, must be the token role. And I saw my friend Vishal Vaidya there, and I said, are you going in for Ralph? He's like, no, I'm going in for Larry. And I remember being like, what? You're going in for another role? You're Asian? I'm Asian? What is going on here? And then other friends, other Asian American friends, were going in for different roles. And it was this like true melting pot where different types of people went in for the various roles, and they just picked who they wanted. And that was something that was kind of new to me at that point, and so refreshing. And I just hope that more of that happens.
I hope so too. We were sitting down with an actress a couple weeks ago, and she mentioned that her friend said race isn't a type. And I was like, whoa, you know, because when I get an audition and, you know, maybe the casting director hasn't changed the description yet, and they're described as someone that doesn't look like me, I really get in my head about it. And I've had to kind of just erase that moment and try to move forward with it. And it is tough when you walk into the audition room and you see a lot of folks that look like you, but there's only one role for you all. And I'm hoping that all the conversations we are having will make it so that begins to change. But
Agreed.
like we said before, we have to keep having these conversations so that people really can see what it's like on the other side. And by people, I mean, casting directors or writers, directors, producers, so that they can see what it's like on the other side and that we can really mix this up because your ethnicity is not your type. There's so many things that you're capable of that are outside someone's small-mindedness of what an Asian actor can do or what an Asian actor type is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would tell people, I'd be like, back then, I would get, comments like, can you make it more Asian? Those dreaded words. And I would be like, the role is Asian if an Asian person plays it. Like, I don't need to wear chopsticks in my hair or shuffle across the stage. Like, don't worry, it's Asian.
Exactly. I'm so glad you said that because on the other side, I hear it too, and it's so devastating. Yeah. And especially when people try to find more colorful language to say it, like, can you make it, one of our guests said, can you make it more urban?
Sorry, yep.
And it's just like, what does that mean? Are we talking about class? Are we talking about, should we transform this room into a city? What do you mean?
Yeah. I'm like, how did urban, it's funny now, these code words. And that's when we can keep calling out like, what do you really mean by that? Because I think you're code wording what you really mean.
Yeah.
So,
And it's not really a note because it's too subjective. It's someone else's personal experience or whatever they think that is. And it's not it's tough. Ooh, it's tough. But I'm glad we're talking about it because it's like irritating and annoying and frustrating and hurtful and
I feel shaky because it's like I'm so not used to talking about it in a way with like other actors to this level. So it's like liberating, it's terrifying, it's cathartic, it's therapeutic right now, but I'm grateful for this.
Me too. And you're safe because guess what, Ray? It's your story. It's your truth. It's your perspective. No one can shift that or change that. This is what you have lived through and you're sharing it.
I remember the day that I realized I was also gay. And I remember looking at the heavens and being like, God, you made me Asian American in the entertainment business and you made me gay? Like, what is really? It had to be both. And then now it's like, I'm glad you did. I own myself. I love how unique I am because there's not, many people like my type or whatever people want to say or like me. And as I grow older, it's more about realizing what you have and owning it and being proud of it and using it. Like when you go into an audition room, I've learned now to not fit a mold, not try and sound like somebody, just be me. If they want it, great. If not, I'm going to go get a milkshake.
Yeah, you got to treat yourself after these auditions. They are rough.
Shake Shack, milkshake. Thank you, Shake Shack.
I think too, when you talk about just being your authentic self, it's so important because if you are in there pretending to be someone else and say you booked the job, well, then now you have to do this job pretending to be what you think you were that day or what you think they want. And there's no liberation in that. There's so much freedom in just, especially when, I love when I get a role and I'm like, oh yeah, all I got to do is learn these lines and be myself. La, la, la. It's the best feeling in the world.
It's the best, especially like when the lines are like, oh, this is stuff I would say because it helps you memorize it so much more. So much more.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, I love it. It's funny. I don't know if you do, but in my closet, like, because I know the roles that I go in for, which is like Best Buy clerk, nerdy best friend. And I have like, there's my Best Buy polo. There's my nerdy button up. There's my doctor scrubs. Like,
yes, I don't have any doctor scrubs yet, but I have considered it. I get called in a lot. I don't know. I hope I don't read like too hard, but I get called in for like, like the powerful woman that's like, saying what she's got to say. Not so much with this, but like, no, powerhouse women that are making decisions and
Yes.
that are intuitive, that are reading the situation, but maybe not playing
Yes.
it yet. Like I get called in for that a lot. Every now and then I get called in for the very positive mom. And I'm like, all right, let me be a positive mom and smile a lot. Let me make sure I smile in this slate. And like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
I was like, I want to see you as a fierce young lawyer, series regular, or a politician. Or
Yes.
yeah.
Give it to me. Those always feel good. There's a lot of like language that, you have to get on your tongue that you're not used to saying as a non-lawyer. But once it's in and you can like put on, like when I put on a blazer, I'm like, yeah. So yeah, I do have I have my suits. I have like she's a lawyer, DA. This is a DA. So she don't have, she doesn't have a huge pockets, but like this is the suit. And then I have like really colorful blazers that are like, I am the owner of a makeup company, she's like her bright pink blazer. I can't talk.
Yeah. I love that.
I have like that kind of stuff in my wardrobe. Yeah.
No joke. The week after Halloween, I went to my dad brain, Spirit Halloween, because they have one here. And I was like, ooh, great. Priest, cop, pharmacist. Great. This is awesome.
Set. Because you really just need like waist up to make it really convincing,
Yes. I don't know about you. When it says like full slate, I'm like, oh man, I gotta put pants on.
Seriously, I have to put shoes on. Like I'm doing all of these auditions in slippers. And I'm like, oh, let me get these heels. Okay, yeah, these will work. I'm too tall in these heels. Okay, back up, because that slate in these New York apartments, it's a
I'm like, you're gonna see everything. You're gonna see like where my my curtains end and the other curtains start. You're gonna see my rug. You're gonna see the Barbie mall next to me because that's where Ellis stuff is. Like, you're gonna see all of it. So
that is the truth. Welcome to New York auditions. I'm sure they've seen it all at this point. I'm sure. Like, I think, my setup can't be nearly as bad. Like, someone has something worse than this. I'm fine. It's fine.
It has been fun seeing all these like virtual concerts and seeing like these Broadway stars and kind of being like a voyeur and being like, oh, that's what Patti LuPone's basement looks like. Like, this is so cool. I feel like I have an in to all these like how these stars live.
Yeah, an inside look at how they live.
Yeah.
Oh man. And I'm thinking about when you were talking about soft power and Groundhog Day, and I don't know what your Broadway debut was.
It was Mamma Mia on Broadway.
Mamma Mia.
Yes, I played Eddie, the drunk friend of the guy getting married who played the bagpipes. So I had to learn how to play 5 notes on the bagpipe, which was in my special skills. But yeah, that was my debut in 2006.
Wow, that's awesome. What was that experience like? Was it were you a replacement? Was that Yeah,
I was a replacement. It was just frankly amazing. I was there for 4.5 years. So Mamma Mia felt like grad school. There was something so amazing about it. Having that as my Broadway debut and having such an incredible group to come to every day, with the super uplifting show that kept me really in shape because we were dancing and I was in a wetsuit and bathing suits. Daddy Ray looked good. And I learned a lot about myself because I think I went into the show like, a couple years out of college, was still straight, didn't know what pizza toppings I liked. I just didn't know who I was. And being around this colorful group of different people, so many different people, different backgrounds, different ages, different experiences. I learned a lot, and it was a type of place, and I'm sure you've had this experience too, where you can go to the cast and have a problem, and there's 3 or 4 people ready to like give you advice at an instant, and it was so comforting and was like a security blanket. And then after 4.5 years, I left, married to my husband. Like, just loving that experience. It was truly, truly an amazing experience. We all still keep in touch.
That sounds like an amazing Broadway debut, especially for how young you were at the time. I'm sure you needed a space to feel safe and to kind of come into your own. And it sounds like Mamma Mia gave that to you.
Yeah, it really, really did. It was also a big way to prove to my parents that I could do this because they didn't know I was an actor at that point. I'd been working at MTV. I can share my story too. I was working at MTV for about 2 years as a PA. So I'd been working on the VMAs, the movie awards, various specials. And so my parents thought I was going to be a TV producer, but was like secretly moonlighting and going to auditions and trying to book a Broadway show. And I was working on the movie awards, got a call from my agent, and they said, we need to see you. And I thought, oh God, I suck. They're going to drop my ass. And I went in and they said, hey, Ray, so you're going to do Mamma Mia. And I freaked out. I'm like, literally in my head, on tour? Awesome. I've always wanted to do a tour. I finally booked. Like for me, that was a big, big job. It means like I've made it, all that hard work, people saying no to me, being told I couldn't do it, that there was no room for me. Oh my God, I get to do this. And then I remember my agent saying, no, Ray, you're going to be on Broadway. Blacked out for, I think, like 5 minutes. I don't really remember how I felt afterwards, except crying. I don't really remember leaving the office. I remember like walking around Chelsea for like 20 minutes, just dazed, and then just called everybody. It was truly gets me right here every time I remember it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And so when you told your parents, what was their reaction?
Well, so then... So I called them, and my mom, I remember being like, hey, Mom, guess what? I'm going to sing and dance on Broadway. I'm going to be in Mamma Mia. And my mom said, oh, you're going to sing and dance on stage? I have to talk to Daddy. And she hung up on me.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, crap. Well, that went well. And they had to live with it. But after a couple years, and figuring, the growing pains of being a family and being their kid and, having the what do you call it? The generational gap, the language barrier, the cultural gap, they came around and they came to see the show. They've been so supportive. Now they're the other way. They're like, Matthew Broderick makes $50,000 a week. Why don't you make $50,000 a week?
And you're like, I'm not Matthew Broderick.
I'm not Matthew Broderick. I did not do all those movies and then do the producers.
Right. He is Ferris Bueller.
Yes, he is famous. I am just trying to make a coin here and there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do think that was a eye-opening for me, learning that you can easily live off a Broadway salary, Yeah. And with you being in Mamma Mia for 4 years, I'm sure you're able to increase your contract and, maybe that helped your parents see, hey, it's okay. I'm not going to be, like singing on the side of the street. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. I had done everything. I delivered cookies. I was working at temp agencies. Because we all hustled.
Yes.
And once they knew that I could, I think the kicker was a 401k. Once I told my dad, hey, Dad, I can put money in a 401k. He was like, oh, this is real.
This is legit. Okay.
Wow. Okay. All right. Good. What was your debut?
My debut was The Lion King.
What was your debut? Your Broadway debut?
Yeah.
It was Lion King?
Yeah, it was in 2016. I had flown in for my callback and I was just like, I have nothing to lose. And so for me, telling my parents also felt like validation. I think that they've been supportive. I don't want to, say that they haven't been supportive, but I think they were worried because I had been delivering groceries. I worked at Starbucks. I waited tables. I hosted at restaurants.
Starbucks too.
Yes. Like all of it. And I think they were just like, oh my God, and my aunt, she did my taxes every year. And I think one year she was just like, oh, because I made like $10,000 the whole year. It's just like, oh my God, my niece is poor. And I was like, yes, but I have dreams, and like nobody wants to hear that. So getting to tell them that I booked Nala on Broadway was just so thrilling because it was a role that they understood. I didn't have to explain anything. They know the Lion King franchise. And so that was amazing. And I just didn't realize what a weight was lifted when I booked it, because then I was like, oh, I don't have to prove anymore. I've shown them I can do this. And, we'll see where we go from here. But yeah.
And I'm sure, like, just to be able to be on that stage, acting your face off, singing with your gorgeous, amazing, beautiful voice. Like, I'm sure they were like, okay, she's good. She's good.
She's okay. She'll be all right.
She's okay. Yeah. She it's almost like they need that professional validation. Because once I had it too, they were like, I got the occasional, like, what about law school? But I was,
And you were in a McDonald's commercial. Did they freak out about that?
They were so excited, especially because there was a Korean version of it. So I could send that to them and they were like, wow, good job.
This is real good. Yeah. It's so funny when your family sees you. For me, I did a McDonald's commercial too.
Oh, cool.
And when my family saw me on TV, they were all like, calling and texting and everything. And I'm like, you guys, I have been in Chicago doing theater for years. Nobody comes to see me. And now I do a McDonald's commercial and all of a sudden, it's like, she's a star,
And then do you get like your like cousin's friend's sister being like, hi, my kid wants to be an actor now. Can you like give them some advice? You're like, I've been an actor my whole life. Now this is when you want to talk to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, here's her number. You can send her email too, when you're not busy. I know you're busy. And I'm just like, okay, everyone's journey is different, though. I almost am like, I can share what I experienced, but I feel like my path was also so unorthodox that I don't know if I can really like clear out the path for everyone. But
yeah, I'd be curious if it's possible to hear your path too, Adrienne. I'm so like curious of how you also got to where you are, if that's okay to ask.
Oh, yeah. I was a chorus girl. Like I wanted to do, and not chorus girl like by theater standards, but like singing in a choir with a robe, like, SATB. That was my thing. And I wanted to be a choral instructor because I did not see enough people that look like me in high school, in middle school, being choral instructors. And so that's what I wanted to do. And then I went to Spelman. And then after my first semester, I was like, no, I want to sing. So I did the operatic route. And I graduated from Spelman with a BA in vocal performance. And then took a year off, went to grad school, got my master's in vocal performance, and thought that that's what I was going to do. But then my first job out of my master's program was at Court Theater in Hyde Park, which I'm sure you know.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, I did a production of Porgy and Bess there. Wow. And I was surrounded by musical theater folks, one of which you might know. Do you know Travis Turner?
Yes.
I was when you said when you left Northwestern, I was like, there's no way he doesn't know Travis. Travis is one of my closest friends.
He was was he 2 years younger than me? He's so fierce. I remember like seeing him in shows because I don't know if we ever did a show together, but I'd be like, who is that? Because the energy he emulates and the talent, it's like, I just can't stop noticing him. He's so fierce.
We've been trying to get him to come to New York for years. I don't think he's going to do it, but he's so great. And so he was one of the people that, told me to just, like, Adrienne, hey, why don't you audition at Drury Lane or Marriott, or he's naming all these theaters that I know nothing about because my brain was in the classical world. And so that's kind of how I got my start in musical theater. Very late, so cool. But yeah. My first dance call, cool. I wore men's gym shorts, and a t-shirt.
Okay, so we can talk about these dance calls because one of my embarrassing story. Do you remember that show Hot Feet?
No.
It was a version of the Red Shoes, but with the music of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh.
I went to like an EPA or ECC and sang that. Like, do you dance? I'm like, yeah, I can do like maybe like a double. I'm not trained. Showed up in cargo pants and a t-shirt. Split my cargo pants all the way to my crotch in front of Maurice Hines. who just gave me a look. I was like, everyone else is wearing their, Lululemons and whatever. And I just, yeah. And then I remember clasping my torn pants, going to like the nearest Old Navy and buying a new pair and just being like, this is horrible.
It's a bad day when you're in a dance call with dancers. For me, it's a bad day. It's just.
Do you notice a difference when they're like dancer call versus singer who moves call?
Yes.
I'm always like, that one, singers who move.
Yes, I need the singers who move. And it's so funny, just while you're waiting is very different too. When you go to a dancer call, the dancers are, beads of sweat. They've done a full bar workout before they came in. They're stretching, they're holding their legs up to their face. And then you go to a singer who moves well call and everyone's like, ooh, let me touch my toes. Let me roll out my wrists. Okay, I feel, and then, sing a little bit.
Chipotle burrito, like,
yeah.
Like, how much more time till the dance?
Right. Let me eat this real quick.
Yeah.
Well, it's a singer who moves call. It can't be that bad, right? Like,
I think there was for the audition of Nerds, the singer who moves call. It was this. I will always remember. I think the team asked for special skills at the end, and the dancer call. They're like, I tumble, I do this, I do a shapoopy, I can do a back tuck into a waka. And the singers who move call, it was like, I knit, I bake cookies. I can type 200 words per minute. It was the most amazing special skills section I've ever witnessed.
That is so funny.
Like, I can do a Mickey Mouse impression, and we would all just be like, yes.
Yeah, do it. I want to see it. Come on, guys.
Literally, I was like, yes, that's Mickey.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are about to get into the stage door round. But before we do, are you sticking around for the curtain call?
Yes, I am, because I got my cookie and my coffee ready.
Yes, I got my green tea. Hey,
yes,
cheers. Because we have so much more I want to talk with you about. Okay, so for the stage door round, I just have a couple of fun questions to ask you. Favorite, this might be tough, I know, because you're a fan, but favorite Britney Spears song?
Oh. Yeah, hit me, baby, one more time.
Hit me, baby, one more. You didn't want to say it.
Because I also love Lucky, but there's so much more. There's like, I Will Be There. There's Soda Pop, Email My Heart. Oh, it's so iconic.
Hit me, baby, one more time. Oh, good. Then I did the right one today.
Yeah. It just was iconic. I was like, who are you? I love this song. I don't know what it means. Now I do.
I know. I think definitely at that age, I was like, I don't know what she's talking about, but it's fun. Hey.
Yeah, it's like all those songs back then. I'm like, yeah, like Dip It Low. I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Like, am I dipping cookies in some fudge? Work. Like,
I remember going around my parents' house singing Genuine's Pony and not knowing what I was saying at all. And I think my parents were like, she doesn't know what's going on. Just let her have it. Let her have it. Now I'm like horrified, but...
That song, though, I mean, somehow we played it, I feel like, in our high school homecomings and proms, but we were all like, yeah, not realizing what it really meant. So,
no.
Yeah.
Okay, so my second question for you is, and this is a fun question I ask everybody, so you're safe. Okay, so in the cast of Groundhog Day, who would you slap? Who would you hug? And who would you take to lunch?
Mm-hmm. I would slap Phil Connors because he needed it. Because he was such a butthole until he learned his lessons. I would hug Nancy, played by the amazing Rebecca Falconberry, because that song in Act 2, her beginning, where she just unleashes and vomits her feelings about no one seeing her. I would just hug her. Who would I take out to lunch? I would take out Russ and Ralph. What is Gus and Ralph? Because we would just drink. Yeah.
Yeah. I love those answers. Ray, I cannot wait to talk to you for the curtain call. I have some more things I want to chat with you about. And for all of you listening and watching, you can follow Ray on Instagram at Raymond J. Lee. All right, Austin, play us out.